Now that some time has passed since the dumpster fire that is The Acolyte ended, you may find yourself in need of something new to watch. Something well written, with competent actors portraying dynamic characters. A show that understands high-stakes drama and thematic narrative storytelling, bolstered by excellent production design and directed by someone with actual talent. And it would be great if that show also included one of the actors from The Acolyte, so you could see him in a role with good material that lets him actually act and show the full range of what he's capable of. Well, as you may have guessed, I have such a show, and it may just be enough to lift you from your post-Acolyte doldrums. I'm talking about Netflix's sleeper hit, Squid Game.
게임을 거부하는 참가자는 탈락으로 처리된다.
In 2021, Netflix released the Korean thriller drama Squid Game. It is one of the best original series on Netflix, filled with taut suspense, mystery, and interpersonal drama. The narrative is also laced with an appropriate dose of social commentary concerning wealth inequality and the dangers of the extremes which lie on either side of the economic divide. Now, while I will avoid talking about some of the show's biggest twists and reveals, I will be discussing some spoilers in the video to cover the basics of the plot and what makes Squid Game so special. The show stars on Seung Ji-hun, a guy who just can't seem to get his life working right. Living in Seoul, South Korea, Ji-hun works part-time to support himself and his mother, but has no drive or aspirations. A light gambling habit and looming bills has put him into debt with a nasty loan shark. Ji-hun also struggles to connect with his daughter, who lives with her mother and stepfather. The playful but strained relationship he's managed to hold on to is threatened when he learns that his ex's new husband will soon be relocating the whole family to America. Desperation and despair leave Ji-hun vulnerable to a mysterious businessman who approaches him one night. The stranger challenges Ji-hun to a simple game with the possibility of winning some money. Afterward, the stranger hands Ji-hun a business card and tells him to call the number if he's interested in winning more money, which of course he does. Calling the number on the card, he is told to wait on a random street corner where he's picked up by a van. The masked driver barely says a word before Ji-hun is gassed and passes out. Then he awakens in a clean jumpsuit with hundreds of other people in a massive dormitory. All the people share similar life experiences, and they've all been brought to this mysterious place to compete in a series of games for a big cash prize. After taking time to sign a physical contract voluntarily agreeing to participate, the 456 players start the first game. And it's the children's game Red Light, Green Light. This version is mediated by a giant robotic girl, and as it turns out, there's one other big catch. When caught moving after the red light, the players are executed by a sniper, and with that revelation, the stakes are raised to insane heights. This is not a friendly competition for some money, it is a game of death. Preceding episodes follow the group of players as alliances are formed, tested, and broken. With each of the following games, the body count rises, the number of players dwindle, and people's true natures are revealed. Squid Game isn't the first to feature this death game concept, but unlike other examples like Alice in the Borderlands, Running Man, Ready or Not, or Cube, Squid Game is noticeable because the people participating in the death games are doing so by choice. After the red light green light game, the surviving players understand the reality of their situation, and they have a chance to quit. And in fact, they do. Taking a vote, the majority by one vote chooses to end the games. But upon returning to the hopeless drudgery of their normal lives, the majority of players change their minds and opt to return and continue. This is an important distinction that sets Squid Game apart. The characters are not trapped by hidden game makers or mysterious spiritual force. They are not held against their will. Instead, they are trapped by their social economic standing, partly because of their own actions, partly due to the actions of others. But regardless, this means Squid Game's participants' fight for survival goes beyond the fight for their lives and the death games themselves. The money the characters stand to win represent a chance at a new life, and that becomes the driving force not only for the characters, but reinforces major themes of the show as well, as it poses the question, is money really the answer for everything? On the technical side of things, Squid Game is remarkably well put together. The production design in the sets, costumes, and all the other little touches help create a world around the games, giving it life and character. For instance, the big pink bows that adorn the coffins the silent guards use to haul away deceased players. This odd aesthetic flair adds layers of less than subtle subtext, which suggests that the people behind the game see death as another kind of gift offered to the downtrodden players, an escape from the cruel hand they've been dealt in the outside world. The writing isn't especially deep, but does a good job at conveying what it needs to. Each of the characters are well realized with unique stories that have driven them to participate in the games. Their motivations and drives vary, as does their reactions to the mounting stress as the pool of players dwindles. Their characterization is helped by a solid cast of actors, almost all of whom deliver strong performances. There are a couple who have a tendency to oversell the unstable mindset of their characters. The worst of these is a group of men who were brought in toward the end of the season. These wealthy elites have been spectating and betting on the games. These characters have absolutely no depth. They are cartoonishly over the top in their crass disregard for human life and serve no purpose other than reinforce how bad rich Americans are. However, these shortcomings thankfully don't drag down the show, but they do stand out among all the strong performances. One thing though, I have to strongly recommend that you watch Squid Game in its original Korean. The dubs are all simply inferior.
여기서 너 같은 족밥 새끼처럼 병신같이 서 있다가
Grandma? Don't you ever call me that!
So if at all possible, watch it in its native language with subtitles. The pacing is at times uneven. Being from Korea, it isn't paced like something you'd get from an American studio. However, when it works really well. The way it builds suspense and pays off dramatic moments works far more often than not. And some of the emotional beats may hit harder than you expect. The action and violence sometimes veers into gratuity, but for the most part helps to sell the brutal nature of the games and the themes of life and death that the show deals with. There is a second season coming this Christmas. I'm not sure they'll be able to capture lightning in a bottle a second time, but regardless, even if season 2 falls short, the first season remains one of the best Netflix shows and I highly recommend it. But as always, this is just one Rebel's opinion. But what do you think? Have you seen Squid Game? What are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments below. Like the video and please consider subscribing to the channel so you'll get all the latest updates from Rebel Normal.